line, and comes into me being charitable and doing things. And we get up to the line, and he puts his stuff down, and if you guys ever, my wife comes here as well, not to the men's breakfast, but to church, if you ever see her, don't tell her about this part. Because I said, I got his stuff, I'll pay for it, right? And it was $65. And I was like, whoa, you must have some good wine there or something, you know? So I paid for it, and then the guy came over to me, bigger than me, you know, and just wrapped me in this big bear hug, and he goes, man, I can't believe you did that for me. Usually I'm the one doing it for everybody else. You know, I really can't believe you did that for me. And I just said, remember, dude, you're not lucky, you're blessed, okay? So in October, still October of 2014, I would wake up in the middle of the night at 2:22. And I would wake up a couple nights at 2:22. And I'm thinking, all right, what is 2:22? So one night I woke up and I was facing away from the alarm clock, and I turned over and I looked and I go, oh wow, 2:21, it's not 2:22. And then it changed to 2:22. And I'm like, all right, what kind of message am I being sent here now, you know? So I started, I basically did it like a Google search on chapter 2, verse 22. And what I found was in the King James Version, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22, it says, flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Now the New King James Version and the NIV version, they substitute love for charity. But I said, all right, here I am sitting here thinking I need to be more charitable, I need to do more things, and then 2:22, 2:22, 2:22. And it happens a lot, and it still happens to me quite often. So I figured if I ever get a tattoo, it's going to be 2:22, 2 Timothy, you know, down my arm or something like that, you know? So between Christmas and New Year of that year, 2014, we had a little tradition where we take my nephew Zach to the movies, we take him out to pizza, we take him to the movies, and he sleeps over. And we were driving, I think, back from the movie or something like that, and I'm like, well, Zach, what time do you get up in the morning? And he's sitting in the back behind me, and my son Tyler's in the passenger seat, or the rear seat behind the passenger seat, my wife's in the passenger seat, and I had told Tyler and Marcy all about the 2:22, so they knew what was going on. So I said, Zach, what time do you get up in the morning? And he goes, well, Uncle Steve, he goes, sometimes I get up at 6:30, sometimes I get up at 7, and sometimes I get up at 2:22. So I sat there and I looked at my wife, I looked at my son, I'm like, what? More 2:22, you know? So I thought, all right, out of the mouth of babes, you know? So again, I'm sitting here going, all right, so God put 2:22 in Zach's mind for some reason, you know? Why would he say 2:22? So then, not much happened, I guess, after that. Actually, in February 24th of 2015, I would say this would be the big event that changed my mind. Remember, I go back to the blood on my hand, and I don't need to be hit over the head, you know, I need to start believing. Well, this one is what really changed me and got me kind of to where I am now. So on February 18th of 2015, my wife's cousin had a memorial service in Long Island. It was a Wednesday. And we went out to Long Island to the service, and they had the repast at his daughter's house, and they had catered food. And when we got home after it, Thursday, my stomach was like, oh, we're not happy, Steve, this is not good. So I thought it was a stomach virus, or I thought it was food poisoning, but I didn't think food poisoning hit you that fast, you know, one day. So it turned out to be a stomach virus, and we wound up calling her cousin, and 6 or 7 people, there must have been one person with the virus, and spread it to like 6 or 7 other people. So I had it on Thursday into Friday. Then Tyler got it Saturday into Sunday. And then my wife got it Monday. Now Monday, well, let me go back a minute. When either I'm sick or my wife is sick, she doesn't like to sleep together, right? So one of us has to go down on the couch. So when I was sick, I slept in the bed, because we kind of do it like the sick person gets the comfortable bed. So when I was sick, I get to stay in bed, and she slept on the couch. So when she got it, all right, I'm going down to the couch, she's gonna sleep in the bed. And we actually had a hockey game to go to that night, so I was like, oh, Ron, do we really have to stay home? And she's like, yeah, I really don't feel that good. I mean, we were in our devil's gear up and down, Tyler and I, we were ready to go. So I said, all right, I'll sleep on the couch. So I laid down on the couch, and we normally leave like the curtain open a little bit and some light comes through the picture window, and we also leave a night light on in the kitchen. Well, I kind of forgot about all that, and I said, okay, when I lay on the couch, I don't want that light coming in and keeping me awake, so I closed the curtains, and I totally forgot about putting a night light on. So she's upstairs, I'm downstairs. I remember waking up because I was a little cold, and I really wanted a picture of this because it would help tell the story, but I think I can do it without it. I got this patchwork quilt, you know, with different squares, different colors on one side, and on the other side it was completely white. So I put that on me, and I was using my cell phone as my alarm clock to wake me up for work the next morning, and at 2:15 an Amber Alert came through on the cell phone. So that woke me up. I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, go back to sleep. Well, at 3 o'clock, I think I might have. 3 o'clock, I had the dream. I don't know if it was a dream or if it was a nightmare, but I was in like a college type of campus, and there were two buildings. There was a building facing this way, and then a building at right angles to it. Old stone buildings, you know, the ivy growing up and everything, and just this cobblestone like area. It wasn't a road, it wasn't like a patio, it was big, and it was cobblestone. And I don't know who it was, just me and a woman. I don't know who she was. She wasn't my wife, I can tell you that much. And I've already told her as well in my dream, sorry honey, it wasn't you. But it was another woman, and you know how witches ride on brooms? Well, she had like a big leaf rake, you know, with the big wooden part of the rake coming out the back, right? And she was on that, and she was elevating in the air, and it was just the two of us. And she was elevating into the air, and spinning. And she's like, Steve, make it stop. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. Make it stop, make it stop. And I'm like, I don't know how to make it stop. I don't know what to do. And then she started rising higher and spinning faster. She's like, Steve, make it stop, make it stop. I said, I don't know how. And all of a sudden, I don't know if it was, like I told this to one of my friends who's born again. He told me I was speaking in tongues. So I don't know if that's true or not. But I just started yelling, Masa Pita Tonka Kaya Naya, Masa Pita Tonka Kaya Naya. And all of a sudden, after saying that, the louder I said it, the faster she went and the higher she went. And then all of a sudden, Masa Pita Tonka Kaya Naya. And she falls to the ground, and I fall to the ground as well. So I'm basically on the ground, flat on my stomach and my chest, and I'm facing my right shoulder. And as I start to get up, and I got up on my hands and knees, this black man with black pants and like a nondescript yellow shirt, bald head, no facial features, no marks or anything like that, light-skinned. As I'm getting up, he's bending down like this, right? So I'm getting up like this on my hands and knees, and I turn to look this way, and he's bending down to me, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I looked at him, and fire flew out of his eyes, like he was the devil, right? And I know most of you guys know that in the Bible, Jesus said there'll be gnashing of teeth. Well, my teeth were gnashing the pillow that I was up against, and I was screaming something, and I woke up, and I was like, what the heck was that? I mean, 55 years old then, I was afraid to go back to sleep, right? I'm like, I don't want to go back into that nightmare. So I got up off the couch, and again, remember, I closed the curtains, forgot to put the night light on. It's pitch black in my house. So I look at the FiOS box, and all it says on it is EAS, like Emergency Alert System. And I looked at it, and then I looked again, and it had EAS on it. And I ran upstairs to tell my wife about the dream. And as I'm telling her, I looked at the FiOS box up there, and it's 3:10 or whatever time, no EAS. So that was like one of the first signs I saw with this dream. So I'm telling her all about the story, and then I told her, I said I was chanting Masa Pita Tonka Kaya Naya, Masa Pita Tonka Kaya Naya. And I went downstairs, and I started Googling all those words to find out what the meaning were. And basically what I came up with, and I don't know the origin of all these words, that wasn't really important to me, but Masa basically means master, so I took it as, all right, that's God and Jesus, they're my master. Pita, another word for rock or stone, which I could say, okay, is the rock that was rolled away from Jesus' tomb. But it's also another name for Peter. So if we go back to my friend Peter, right? Tonka is gracious, so graciousness about things. Kaya is forgiveness, right? So the Lord died, forgiveness for my sins. And Naya is a water nymph. I'm not sure what a nymph is. Maybe it's a little person, I don't know. But to me, that signified baptism. So Massa, God or Jesus, Peter, rock or stone, or my friend Peter, Tonka, gracious, Kaya, forgiveness, Naya, baptism. So I went upstairs to tell my wife what I learned, what these words meant. And then as I was walking up, and I'm still afraid to go back to sleep, by the way. I open up the curtains, there's lights now, but I'm still afraid to go back to sleep. And then I remembered, I said, wait a minute, somewhere in that dream, I don't remember where, I said, in the dream, I walk with the Lord. And as soon as I thought of that, in my, that I dreamt it, I went, wow, and I felt this calmness and peaceness come from my head all the way down to my toes. So I said, okay, I can go back to sleep now. I have nothing to fear because I walk with the Lord. So I go back upstairs to tell my wife that as well. I come back down at 4 a.m. about. So now, I got to get up for work at 6:30. It's 4 a.m. And I come back downstairs. And when I got out of my bed, the couch, I just flipped the corner of the comforter over and I went upstairs. When I came back down, the comforter was completely flipped over from the colored side with the squares to the white side showing, right? So I went, okay, white, the Lord, again. Everything was the Lord for me at this point, So I ran back upstairs to tell my wife, and I told her that, and she's like, you must have done it, Steve. I go, I wouldn't know if I did it. I know which way I put the comforter on, So I came back downstairs, and I was gonna go to one of my go-to videos, the muddy water. So